Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President of the Comedy Society, your Master of Ceremonies for this evening, and our compere beyond compere, Dan Taylor.
So, before we get going with the other stand-ups, I'd like to give you a selection of impersonations from other stand-up comedians, famous ones. And I'd like to do the impression, I'll tell you a little about them. So, the first impression I like to do is, of course, a very famous stand-up at the moment, Mr. Michael McIntyre. So, my impression of Mr. Michael McIntyre goes something a bit like this, you see. He's very kind of energetic, and his hands go kind of everywhere, and he talks very, very posh, and wanders round the stage talking of things that he's seen on a day-to-day basis, if you will. Oh look, I was walking down the street the other day, and I spotted a woman carrying some shopping. Would you believe such a thing? So, yes, that's my impression of Mr. Michael McIntyre. Thank you very much. So, after Michael McIntyre, I'd like to do an impression, again, for our transatlantic cousins, of Mr. Robin Williams, of course, the manic impressionist and comedian that he is. So, my impression of Robin Williams goes a little something like this. I'm Robin Williams, how you doing? Look over there, look, there, look, a bottle on the table, I don't believe it, I hear you, boy, I hear you, oh my God, look at the ceiling, can you believe such a thing? I don't know what you're talking about. Start, boy, Scott, give me a word. Dog, little dog, it's got a collar, you take it for a walk, woof, 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 placemat, put your beer on, I don't know, I hear you, I'm Robin Williams. Thank you very much. So that's my Robin Williams impression. After that, we're going to go slightly closer to home with an impressionist on the show Mock the Week. This is my impersonation of Mr. Frankie Boyle. Hey, well, you know, my name is Frankie Boyle, and I like to say very, very controversial things all the time about women who look like men, or the molesting of small children, and things such as that. I've got a very acerbic wit, and I see things in a very deadpan delivery style. So, that was Mr. Frankie Boyle. Next, again, we have another American, Mr. Bill Cosby. Well, girls, what you got it, I'm Mr. Bill Cosby. I wear the crazy sweaters and I do the crazy dances, and everyone thinks I'm really great. The Cosby Show was back in the 90s, but the kids today, they got the Pokemon, they got the hip-hop music, and they don't know what's going on with the things. And you know what I mean, kind of a black comedian, and the education of the kids is very important. So thank you very much, Bill Cosby. So that's my Bill Cosby impression. And next we have Mr. Jasper, who talks, you know, he's very, very kind of morbid, very wide-eyed. Loses his hair a little bit, and he's named after a vegetable. I mean, I don't know if you can quite comprehend this, but I don't think he gets much vitamin C in his diet. So, you know, I'll put off from Birmingham, you know, so I just want to say thanks everyone for turning up and watching my stand-up gig, so thank you very much, Jasper Carrot. Next, we have Mr. Alan Carr, and of course, notable Channel 4 friend. And talks a little bit like this, and I thought one day Kenneth Williams, if you will, to make sort of gross kind of camp gestures and things like that. So thank you very much everyone for being here tonight. It's really such a wonderful audience. And my penultimate impression was recently voted the greatest stand-up comedian in the UK, and that is Mr. Billy Connolly. Hey, you know, I'm Billy Connolly, like, so I've got like really long hair, and I extend all my sentences like that, and I paint my beard pink sometimes, so you know what I'm talking about. So thank you very much for Billy Connolly impression, if you know what I mean. So, Bill Connolly, and finally, I would like to do a very quick impression of Mr. Jerry Seinfeld, the famous Jewish comedian. So, I mean, come on, people, you know, what's the deal with airline food? I mean, come on, what's the deal with this? I take very small things, I blow them into big proportions, things like that. So, thank you
very much. Jonathan's kindly agreed to play the piano, and I'm going to try something out I haven't done before, and it's a musical impression. Okay, and how it's going to work is I'm going to hold up this, and this is the person I'm doing the impression of. And halfway through the song, I will change to a different person I'm going to impersonate. I will present who that person is in a little while. So the song I will sing is "Knocking on Heaven's Door," Mr. Bob Dylan. To do an impression of our illustrious leader, Mr. Gordon Brown, and I would like to encourage anyone in the audience if you'd like to ask a question to Gordon Brown, because I spoke to him earlier today and he said a lot of free time on his hands, but he doesn't have enough free time to come all the way back to Norwich. So, go over 2 seconds, I will assume my Gordon Brown impression, and then I will take questions from the audience. So, hello, my name is Gordon Brown, the British Prime Minister and leader of the Labour Party, and I would like to welcome all of you here tonight, and I would like to take questions from any of you about the economy or something like that. Do we have any questions? You sir, yes.
What's your favourite pudding?
My favourite pudding, of course, is tiramisu, and you know, I like to watch it. Eat it, of course. When I sit down and watch popular programmes such as X Factor or Britain's Got Talent, because I'm a very hip Prime Minister indeed. So thank you very much for that. You're a Labourite, I assume.
Oh, of course.
We can't win them all, can we? Neither can I. So, any other questions from the audience? For you? Yes, you, sir.
Why don't you spend more of your expenses on haircuts?
It's a very good question, and I'm not going to lie, I agree with Nick here. I should have spent more money on the haircuts, but I didn't. So, bad luck for me, if you see what I mean. So, anyway, without further ado, I'm going to hand over now to our next stand-up comedian. Please show your appreciation, unlike for me, to Miss Julia Mitchell.